are ready to go. Welcome everyone to our Sunday meditation gathering. We've been looking at visually created objects, what we call visualizations. So these are things that you imagine, and we started off progressively with a very simple geometric shape and then a meaningful object, for example like a seed syllable. These are generally used in the progressions of meditating in the tantras. And today we're going to look at, kind of in a generalized way, how you meditate on a deity. But in this case, then I'm going to use the image. In this case, I'm going to use the image of Shakyamuni Buddha. And that's because most people are familiar with this. So this is the image of the Buddha from the Mahabodhi temple in India, and so many of you will visit it there, will visit this place. It's a little bit more complicated. When you do a tantric practice, then you do that for kind of many years, you become familiar with it, and then you kind of remember it, just like you will remember the face of somebody you know, like your spouse or your mother, then this will come to mind quite easily. And so when you do deity meditation practice, it's similar. When you become familiarized with a particular image of a deity, or the Buddha, for example, then it will arise to mind very easily. Now, in Sekar Retreat Center in Nepal, then I made these meditation stands for all the practitioners. And so we use these on our prayer tables in front of us. It's just a kind of one of these free postcards of Buddha that you get from the temples in India, and it's mounted onto a stick. And so when you have something like that, it's a good kind of objective focus for your meditation, but also you can practice your visualization that way as well. So if you've got, for example, a Tara picture, if you're doing Tara practice, or Guru Rinpoche, then you can have it a postcard on a little stick in front of you, and then you look at it, remind yourself, and then you practice visualizing. And they sell these little things like IKEA and stuff like that. That are for postcards. They're a little stick with a weight and a clip on it. There's all kinds of different things like that. You don't have to make your own. This was made from kind of recycled wood from the retreat, and I had to make like 100 of them. But that's quite a useful thing, especially if you're going to do like Tara practice or something. If you can get a good image, put it onto a little stand. And then, like this as well, you can adjust the height so it's in the right position when you're looking at it. So what I've got here on the stream is an image captured, and I'll leave that on when we're meditating. As usual, we'll say our prayers. These are aspirations, setting our motivation for the practice. and then we'll begin meditating, trying to visualize this very familiar image of the Lord Buddha. These are what are called significant objects. So for a Christian, if you're going to do this type of meditation, it should be like a picture of Christ, for example, or the Virgin Mary, that sort of thing. And they're significant because immediately there's associative meaning, right, with a particular image. It's the same with the Tibetan script. If you study the Tantras, then you'll sort of have an idea what Hung means. And then when you focus on that syllable, the meaning is associated with that. In the same way, if you're a Christian, you use Jesus or Mary. If you're a Buddhist and you use Buddha, for example. If you're a Hindu, you use Shiva. Whatever you do, then it has a kind of more weight. It's not just like a picture of a tree or something like that, right? You associate that with a teacher and the teachings that are associated with that teacher, the lineage, etc., the history. So it's what we call a significant object. Okay, so as usual, we'll do our prayers. O glorious, precious root Lama, above my head on a lotus moon seat, you care for me with great kindness. Please bestow the cities of body, speech, and mind to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Sangha. Until enlightened I go for refuge. May I, by the virtue of meditation, become awakened to benefit beings to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Sangha. Until enlightened I go for refuge. May I, by the virtue of meditation, become awakened to benefit beings to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Sangha. Until enlightened I go for refuge. May I, by the virtue of meditation, become awakened to benefit beings. Where the supreme and precious awakening mind has not arisen, may it arise, and once it's arisen, may it not diminish, forever continue to flourish and thrive. I prostrate, make offerings, and confess, rejoice, request, and supplicate. Whatever slight merit I gather here, to Buddhahood I dedicate. me hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. By this merit may I obtain omniscience, defeat the enemy wrongdoing, and so free all beings from the ocean of existence, with its stormy waves of birth, aging, sickness, and death. Precious mind of awakening, may it arise in those who are without it, and never fade from those who hold it, but continually grow from strength to strength. May the glorious Lama's lotus feet be firm. May bliss and joy fill the reaches of space, as we gather the accumulations and purify obscurations. May I and all without exception be swiftly brought to Buddhahood. So hopefully what you'll come to see is that actually visualizing an object and then stabilizing the mind is quite difficult. So really, in order to be able to do this kind of practice properly, you have to practice a lot with kind of fixed physical objects in order to create mental stability. And then that will be a good foundation for doing tantric practices or visualization practices. So what I'd like you to do for next week is find like a photograph or something. It could be anything you like. You know, if you're a Hindu, take a picture of Shiva. If you like Guru Rinpoche, find a picture of Guru Rinpoche. It doesn't have to have a stick, but you should be able to put it in front of you at a level where you can meditate on it without dropping your head down, without looking up, and sort of at a decent distance so the eyes are resting kind of naturally without going cross-eyed or having to strain to see it, right? And so for this week, what you should do is you should try to visualize all week. And then next week, we'll do this practice and you're going to compare what it feels like. Try not to cheat. Try not to go using an outer object. Try to really visualize all week and see if you can make it stable. And then next week, we'll try it with a physical image that's in front of us and focus the mind on that. And then you should be able to compare. You'll have this personal experience with the differences. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure, yeah. Someone on Zoom is just going to ask a question. Yeah. Yeah, so what I did was I took a piece of plastic and I glued it to the back. That piece of plastic, it was wrapped around the pole. It's very simple, but I found that there's these things that have little magnets on them for postcards. They sell them like Costco and things like that. They're for postcards. And the magnet sticks to your postcard. And then it just goes dunk onto the thing and you can move it. So there's lots of things like that at the dollar shops. But I put a piece of plastic and I stuck a bit of felt in behind it. And I glued it to the back of this card, which is laminated. And then it just slides naturally and it holds in place. So someone on Zoom was just asking how I made that. And that's an old skirting board from Nepal. We had all this wood. It's really nice teak, and sort of Nepali style teak. And it had been thrown out. And so I just like saved it all out of the garbage and cut these. I cut these up by hand with a pull saw, you know, from 6 planks of wood. And I made them for everybody in the retreat. And they work really well because you can move it around. You can adjust it to your own height, you know, bring it closer. A bit of felt on the bottom so it slides on your table. That's just white glue. Works well. Anyway, you know, if you're not kind of a handyman type person or a handy woman or handy other, then you know, just buy something or just find some way to prop a picture up in front of you so you can rest your eyes on it without having to strain. Okay, but it's kind of nice having something like that, and you can throw it in your bag and take it with you. It's a really good practice. We do this in Sekar, right? We do this a lot in Sekar. Okay, thank you for joining us. We've gone a little bit over time. Until next time, see you later.